Welcome to my Welcome Podcast. My name is Dave Cacciarella. I'll be your professor for whichever course you're taking, whether it's earth science, oceanography, or meteorology. This Welcome Podcast also good whether you're taking an online course or one of my hybrid courses.
Okay, so this is the Seminole State Canvas dashboard. Yours probably looks very similar. Just for this introduction podcast, I'm going to use my Introduction to Meteorology online course. Again, it's all similar whether you're in oceanography, earth science, and really whether you're in an online course or a hybrid course. In the hybrid course, the only difference is that you are going to come to class for part of your instruction. So we're going to use this MET 1010 Introduction to Meteorology. This is in my online course, and this is the course homepage. Not very pretty, but that's what we have to work with. And on the homepage, you're going to see all the modules from which you get all of the work you're going to do other than the work in your textbook. But I want to start with the syllabus. The syllabus is a standard syllabus from Seminole State College. They're all going to look pretty much the same. There are some differences in each course based on your instructor and the course structure. So we're going to go through that very quickly. Most of this is boilerplate, course information, prereqs, my information, and this is where you can follow me in all the different interwebs. And then instructional mode. For this particular class, it's online. Yours may be hybrid. Textbook, of course, and we're talking meteorology, but it could be an oceanography class or earth science. And then how this course is taught. This is the part that I've added. So 100% online in this case, and it goes on to talk about the fact that lectures and readings and the textbook and other podcasts and videos, all the content in addition to the textbook that you're going to find will be found here on the course homepage, the Canvas course homepage. And in hybrid classes, you should know that you really are expected to have consumed all of that content before you come to class. What we'll be doing in class is just sort of digging deeper into some of the specific concepts. Assessments, essentially, this is the good news. Whether it's homework, quizzes, or exams, it's all taken online in Canvas. And all assessments will be due Friday, the week that they are assigned. Now, in the case of hybrid classes, sometimes those hybrid classes end on different days of the week depending on the semester. We'll deal with that specifically with any hybrid class. But for the most part, all of your assessments are going to be due. Certainly all of your homework, all of your quizzes, your midterm exam, and very, very likely your final exam as well, all due on Friday the week that they are assigned. And for late submissions, I have the right to take off some points. We cannot have late submissions for the final exam. And then again, at the very bottom here, it tells you which chapters each quiz and exam is going to cover. Each homework just covers one chapter. Quick word on the homework. If you do all 13 of these homeworks, you're going to be ready for any of the tests. There are a series, in this case, 13 question pools. All the homework assignments are pulled from those question pools, all right? But then the quizzes and the midterm and the final are also pulled from those question pools. So you may have already seen the questions. And the good news is on the homework, you can do the homework as many times as you want. Canvas will always keep the highest grade. So you can study for a particular chapter by simply going through the homework as many times as you want to. Canvas will always keep your highest grade, and that'll be the best way to prepare for your quizzes and your exams. All right, here's the calendar. And again, each semester is broken down into either 8, 12, or 16 weeks, depending on which semester you're in. So essentially, each week you're going to have one or possibly even two chapters, which means 2 chapters to read, 2 lectures to read, and then as you'll see on the modules, there may be other content in each particular week. Maybe it's a podcast or a video pulled from the internet. Maybe it's a reading or it's an article that I want you to read. So each week, a chapter, a lecture, and the other content on the Canvas homepage. In terms of assessments, each week one of the homework assignments will be due. You get down to the 3rd week. In this case, there's also a quiz due. All right? You go through week 4, 5, and 6, and then in the 7th week, the midterm is going to be due. That's all that's going to happen in this particular class in the 7th week is going to be a midterm. 8th, 9th, get down here to the 10th week, we're going to have a quiz on Chapter 2. Well, what does Chapter 2's quiz cover? Well, that's easy enough to find out. Go back up here. Chapter 2's quiz covers chapters 7 through 9. And then take you down into the last kind of quarter of the semester. Weeks 13, 14, well, 14 is Thanksgiving in this case. It may be spring break if it's a spring semester. And there may not be a week off if it's a summer semester. And then the final exam week. And so in this case, Friday is the 9th, and the final exam is due Friday by 11:59. And I strongly urge you to not wait until the last possible second to take your final exam. And I also strongly urge you to take your final exams on a computer that's hardwired into the internet. If you're counting on Wi-Fi, inevitably the Wi-Fi will go out. All right, here's your grade scale, and just for those of you who are watching, I'll tell you that it really is, again, let's just say you have an 89.51. Well, in the case of an 89.51, you'll be bumped up to an A. All right, so there's your grade scale, late assignments, attendance policy. By the way, you are expected, if you're in a hybrid class, to attend all the class meetings. Withdrawal policy, put this in bold, it is not my responsibility to withdraw you. It is your responsibility to withdraw yourself if that's what you want to do. And the rest, again, is essentially boilerplate information all the way down to the academic calendar, accommodations, communications, emergency, technology, and of course you can find the syllabus online. This syllabus online at that URL, but you can also, if you wanted to, I don't suggest this, and actually really don't want you to, but you can also print this as a PDF as you like. All right, so let's go to the home page, and this is where this class will always open up. We are in the Start Here module. You're watching the podcast. If you were to click on this one, this is just a very much a compressed article or a little quick blog on basically what I'm telling you now. So go back to your home page. So if you consider that syllabus, week 1, here's the exact same information. Week 1, chapter 1 lecture, composition of the atmosphere, podcast, something you'll need to watch, and your homework. So chapter 1 lecture, if you click on this, all the video that you're going to see in this lecture is all going to come from YouTube. Makes it easier for you. So click on it. So easy enough. You can watch this guy, you can stop when you want, you can go back, you can take notes, and that's going to be the chapter 1 lecture. Instead of being in class, you're going to see it there. And there should be closed captioning. You can turn that on if you so desire. Then there's also, it happens to be in chapter 1, a podcast on the composition of the atmosphere, and similar stuff. This one happens to be not quite as long. I think it's 8 or 9 minutes. Nonetheless, that's something that you'll need to watch before you come to class. If you have a hybrid, if you don't have a hybrid, if you're online, you need to watch it as well. All right, then the last thing for that particular week, week 1, is going to be taking your homework. And again, this homework is due on the 26th. It is worth 10 points. You can take it as many times as you want. You can take it as many times as you want, and Canvas will always keep the highest grade. And then the rest of it's just grinding through the semester, right? Chapter 2, there's a couple of podcasts here. There's actually 3. Well, there's 2 podcasts, and then there's a little blog here on latent heat, which is important for you to read. Understanding latent heat is extremely important, whether you're in oceanography or in meteorology. And then again, there's the chapter 2 homework. You get down here to week 3, chapter 3 lecture, chapter 3 homework, and then there's your quiz. So this is the 25-point quiz. It's doing the 9th. Quizzes and exams, whether the midterm exam or the final exam, can only be taken once. They're taken in one sitting, and they are timed. The rest of the semester is pretty much straightforward. Week 7 is your midterm exam week. We'll get down here to week 14. That's Thanksgiving week. And then 15, and then the week 16 is your final exam week. And again, you need to take this by the 9th. And so if you are the type of person who needs to see a calendar in front of them, you can click on the calendar, and when the calendar comes up, you're going to see that any of your homeworks and or your quizzes are going to be indicated on your calendar. And in the case of September, on the 9th in this particular semester, there is chapter 3 homework and there's a quiz. Now those are the 3 different classes I'm teaching. Yours will look, of course, a little bit different than that. The other thing is if you want to contact me or any of your students, the only way for you to do that is through the inbox. That's how I'll be reaching out to you as well, is through the inbox. If we go back to our homepage, then you can also see where you can find discussions. This particular class already has a discussion pre-populated on Central Florida's wet season. I strongly encourage you to reply to these discussions and ask questions if you have them. Hey, Professor, Great discussion. How much rain do we get each year? And you're going to post that, and then I'll respond to you. Okay, discussions are not graded. And of course, you can find your grades here. And there are no grades in this particular class. And then we go back to the home page, and that's pretty much it. So that's the look at this class. Again, some really key points here. One being, you can take the homework, you can do the homework as often as you like. Do it over and over and over again. Canvas will keep the highest grade, and that's a great way to study for your tests. Your quizzes or your midterm exam and your final exam are all taken in one sitting. You can't open them and close them. It's in one sitting. They are timed, and there are due dates, and you have to take the final exam. It's worth 100 points, 100 of the 300. So if you have any questions, of course, you can go to the inbox and you can email me. You can also, I think, probably get my email address at the top of the syllabus, and I do strongly encourage you to email me with any questions that you might have, whether it's questions about the course, questions about a grade, questions about a homework or test question, or questions about any of the concepts that we will be going over. Welcome to my class. I look forward to working with and engaging any and all of you. Again, don't forget to email me if you have any questions.